our condolence to the Anthony Lim's family. Anthony Lim, I think everybody have talked about him, how great he is. I was a member, not 40 years, but less than that. But when I was in KL branch, I came to know Anthony Lim, because at the time we only had KL branch. We didn't have any BJ and all that branch. And I was about 2 years in the branch, and President Chong called me to become the branch president because they said they want to split the branch into KL and PJ. And KL branch, I think the time Felix Yong became the branch president, and I was asked to become a branch president of PJ branch. And when I look at the members that I had at the time, 90% were all bachelors. I don't know how to choose bachelors to be my leaders. I was a bit worried because I myself am new. And I look at Anthony Lim, and he came and first thing he came and told me, Rama, you need any help, take me in. So I remember that moment that he asked me to call him. I didn't sit and pray. Something strikes me, I have to call him, and I did call him as the BML. Brothers and sisters, you believe it or not, that year PJ branch had about 18 baptisms, and it's all because of Anthony Lim's hard work. He was a great BML, I can say. He really did a good job as a BML, and I think some of them are today sitting here. I can say there were a lot of baptisms that took place. I don't think there is anybody who has broke that record in the district. 18 baptisms per year, anybody? No. So Anthony Lim still had the best BML as I know. And it made my work easy. He's a guy who never refused to come for any meetings. And brothers and sisters, those days our meeting will go for hours. I think I can testify, Perumal was in the meeting, Michael was in the meeting, they know. And what kind of man Anthony Lim, he always had a lot of things that he wanted to do. He will explain, he wanted to have open house, he wanted to have talent night, and we did all that. And he really brought members. He was really a very good BML, I can say that. And I think within 2 years, we have to split the branch because the baptism was taking place very good. And Anthony Lim did a great part in that. And many of you think Anthony Lim was very active in church, brothers and sisters, not church alone. He was very active in entertainment. When the Jets were here, he was the master of ceremony. When the Jets, I think some of you know the band, the Jets, he was entertaining them like he knows them very well, and they feel so comforted. I was the branch president, but I was sitting behind. Anthony Lim was doing most of the talking and all that. And he really enjoyed all these kind of things that he will really make any people who comes here, any entertainers or any people who comes into church, he will make them as a very happy person. He will be with them like he know them for many years. And surprisingly, when the Donnie Osman came for second time, Donnie and Marie, I was in Genting because my youngest daughter asked me to take her and go to Genting Highland. And I saw Anthony Lim there. And I asked him, how do you came? He said he took a bus and came there. I gave him a ride back. He's that type of person, even though he is in the late 60s, maybe that time 60s, 70s, he likes entertainment so much, he likes music so much. And at the same time, he's a very good BMer. He talks about the gospel very well. And he was writing, I think, a lot of church news. At that moment, we had a lot of church news. He was the writer because he can write very well. And he told me he used to write in, that time we had a Malay Mail newspaper, and still we have. He said he used to write in Malay Mail newspaper and all that. So I know him. He's a very dedicated man, very nice man. And when Elisha was in BYU, he was very happy. He came and told me, because Elisha was with my daughter Nina, then he asked me, oh, I'm so happy that my son can go to BYU. And he was so proud that his son went to BYU. And I mean, he really feels so proud of his children. I know those days he used to bring the 2 children in his Ford Escort car, Ford. And every time we had a meeting, he will make sure he will send the children and he will come back in the meeting in time. He's that type of dedicated man. At the same time, he was a very dedicated father. I can see he was a very dedicated father, and later part when I used to meet him in KL branch, I used to see he bring his granddaughter all the while. I think he never missed a granddaughter from his side. He was that type of man, Anthony Lim is. I mean, we have a lot of story to talk to him, but I think time is only 5 minutes. So I know he have lived in this world very well, and I know he went to the next step, and I know he will do a lot of missionary work in this. He's that type of man. He loves to do missionary work. I like to say all this in the name of Jesus Christ.